Where you find this idea?
So from the beginning, I knew that I had to make a film that is cheap in the production. It's not easy to collect money for a first-time filmmaker. So I knew that I want to make something that only engages three characters in one apartment, and I was looking for the right conflict, the conflict that would be engaging for the audience and important for me to spend few years on working on that. So I find in the news a story about the parents who are chasing by the police because they did not they let his son find the guns in their house. So and then the son was the perpetrator of killing a squee. And I thought to myself that it's really interesting that it's the parents who are fleeing, who are being chased, and they have to be responsible for what his kid done. And I thought that it's great idea for a character, a parent, a father, who has to change his life immediately, decides to leave everything, and just try to escape the country because of what his son has done. And I decided that it's a great opportunity to look to on that character, to see what his dilemmas are. Does he feel responsible for what his kid done? Does he even want to know why he did it in the first place? Or is he telling himself a story, a fantasy that maybe it was some kind of maybe somehow it's justified or it was provoked. So that's the idea to the need for me as a first time filmmaker to create a small drama between three characters in one apartment, and then this idea about the parent who is responsible, who takes responsibility for his son doings came to me.
How you develop this idea? Where you start and how it's were done?
So I think the most difficult part in the whole production was not the working on sets, but working on a script, because it's not easy to write such story, a thriller, psychological thriller drama that takes place in one apartment in real time between three characters. So there were many drafts. I think 17 or 18 drafts. It took me almost 2 years to write the script. I had several people who were consulting it. Many of my friends were reading the script, and I was just asking them to read it again and tell me what they think, what they understand, what they don't understand. So it was just like, I would say, regular typical work for a writer, but it was much more intense and took more time that maybe for more experienced writer it takes. In my case, it was almost 2 years. I was trying to make the best story I could, the most engaging, the most to try to make characters as deep as I can, as deep as I can. Um, so yeah, and the actors helped me a lot. At some point, we started rehearsals. At first, the table rehearsals, then with the choreography, and then the script changed as well. Then we shoot everything with a small camera. It took us 2 days to shoot like a test film. So for 2 days we went to this studio when our set was built, and we we did one take of each shot. So we were able to cut the movie after 2 days, cut the whole movie, and see how it works. Of course, there was no lighting, no costumes, no makeup, only the characters in the set. In the set. So that we did that 2 weeks before the main shooting, and it also helped me shape the story, shape the script, because it was like a rehearsal but filmed and cut. So it gave me a sense what the story will be, what the film will be. So I was able to change some things. Then we had the main shooting, which was 13 days. Not much for a film, but enough for such film. And I planned, because I'm also the producer, I decided to spend some part of the budget to additional shooting days. It's not common in Poland, and in fact, everyone was asking me why I'm doing that if I don't know what I'm going to reshoot after those few weeks. But I knew that it will be something that I'm gonna need, and it will help me to tell better story, because I will be able to cut, consult, and learn from that. So because we were shooting in a studio, we were able to leave this set for over a month, and we spent that time in the editing room, and then we had the first cut. We were able to show it to people, hear what they think of it, and then I was able to work on the script once again. So I rewrote some parts, some scenes, in fact many scenes, and we used those extra shooting days to reshoot some scenes, some parts of the scenes, and that was the last moment when I was working on the script. So as you see, it took me a lot of time, and there were many tests, many rehearsals, even shooting tests or rewriting after the main shooting. I planned it that way because I thought that I knew that it's difficult to write such story, and I need to I have to have this opportunity to see how things are working on a screen and to talk with other people about it. So it took me 2 years in general to write the script, and the last version I made was 1 month after the main shooting.
How you find your actors?
I knew Tomek Schuchart from the screen, and I approached him before the first draft even. When I was working on that script, I thought that he would be the perfect fit for that character, and I called him when I had a treatment, but I didn't send him the treatment at the beginning. I told him that I would like to meet him and tell him the story. That's what I always do. I prefer to tell the story instead of to actors, instead of sending them a script. So he enjoyed it, and he was willing to read the first draft once I had it. So I sent him the first draft a few weeks later, and he agreed to play that part. Paulina Gałązka, I knew her before. We were working together on my short comedy. So I knew that she's talented actress, and I really liked working with her. So I thought that she would also be a great fit to that. The most difficult was looking for the boy, because we don't have many actors in that age. When we were shooting, he was 18, so before the acting school. I knew that I need to find someone who's experienced, because it's too big part to risk working with someone who is not experienced on set, on camera, who might get tired after some parts of working, after a few days of working. And we had several stages of casting, and Tomek, my main character, he was the one who at the very end suggested me that we should pick Boris, the boy who actually played that part. I was someone else's mind, but Tomek said, "Okay, let's invite those two once again to one more rehearsal and see which one is better for that role. And of course, when we did it, I noticed what Tomek knew already, that Boris is much better. I think he's much better for this character. I think it's because Boris has the strength in him. He can be self-confident boy with maybe psychopathic ingredient in his reactions, in the way he's looking, but at the same time he can be fragile, innocent, and I wanted to have a boy that we, as the audience, we would believe that he's worth saving, that we will support father in his mission to give this kid another chance. So I wanted to have a boy that, as at the beginning, we see that looks normal. He's delicate, he's innocent. Maybe something bad happened, but maybe it can be justified. Father believes that it can be justified somehow. But later we see that he is getting more and more. He's trying to get more and more control over his father, and at the end we see that he's strong, manipulative young man. So Boris has this combination in him, I think. That's why I decided to work with him. So with Tomek and Paulina it was easy to cast them, to convince them. Finding Boris was the hardest part.
How you find the money?
Oh, I. It took me a lot of time to find money, but I cannot say that it was like super hard. Maybe because the story was good. Maybe because I had the good package. Because with the story, I had two great actors, Tomek and Paulina, who are well known in Poland, and I applied to Polish Film Institute at first, and then with the small amount of, and I asked for a little money, a small amount of money. So I asked for only 100,000 euro, and maybe that's the reason they gave it to me. Then I applied to the director to double it, and she agrees, which is super happy, which I'm super happy about. And but having this first money allow me to go around the market and collect more. And Canal Plus was the first, Canal Plus Poland, the first big partner who decided to jump in on board, and they wouldn't decide that if I hadn't had this first 100,000 euro from Polish Film Institute. So because someone already believed in that project, Canal Plus also believed in that project, and they gave me much more money. And then Wrocław Feature Film Studio decided to co-produce as well. They gave me the studio, they paid for building the whole set. And the last one was Lower Silesia Film Fund, whose money was the one that we spent for those extra shooting days. So when when we had enough money for the main shooting, the 13 days that we needed, and we got those extra money, I was thinking, okay, this is extra money, let's spend it on something extra, like extra shooting days that we can afford. And I have two more co-producers. One is image post-production studio, Kolorophon, and the second one is Kulki Play, which is an Polish talent agency. So I was able to attract all those partners because I think the story was good, the cast were good, and the cast was good, and but it took me like over 1 year, maybe it's almost 1 year and a half to apply, to wait for the results, to apply once again, to convince those partners. I think it was time consuming. It wasn't so hard. The hardest part was writing the script that will convince them. I think that was the most difficult.